Hello and welcome everyone to Cybercast Ep84, the Transformer Video Podcast. I'm Josh, also known as G1 Hextron. I'm joined by my co-host, Jaim, also known as Victory Saber 77, and we're joined by our guest, Rick Alvarez, with PlayWithThisToo. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the show.
Now, before we get into this discussion, and we're going to talk about PlayWithThisToo, Jaim, tell people where they can find you, man.
You can find me Twitter, YouTube, Victory Saber 77, and there's also an aftercast that is on my channel every Saturday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we also have an eBay show, which is every other Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on G1 Hextron's channel, but that is actually going to be canceled next week, also with the aftercast next week.
And Cybercast.
And Cybercast.
Everything's canceled next week, so you're getting it all right here. You're going to have to get your fix. Also, guess for next, I guess next month, we're gonna have third-party company Bold Forms and also Repro Labels on as well. Rick, where can people find you, man, or find a little bit more information, look at some pictures of some of the product that you're putting out?
They can find me usually in the basement of my house in Connecticut. As far as PlayWithThisToo stuff, we're on Facebook. Please join us there. It seems to be place where the most discussion happens about our reveals and our product, and we're on this Twitter thing at PlayWithThisToo, and we do this Tumblr thing, and then we have a website. It's PlayWithThisToo.com.
Okay, and I'll make sure that I put those links in the description. I know the Facebook link is already there, so if you want to go ahead and click on that, look at some of the pictures, see what they do, feel free to do that. You also have something that you announced, probably on Twitter as well, but I saw it on Facebook. Play with this Tuesday.
Play with this Tuesdays, yeah. All right. Well, so we've talked to everyone that our Kickstarter is going to jump off in February around Toy Fair, and we were kind of looking at our visual Kickstarter guide, and we were looking at all the different figures we had and all the different things we're going to do and all our unlockables and stretch goals, and we thought, wow, we need to start revealing stuff on a more regular basis, or we're just not going to be able to show everyone everything before the Kickstarter. So we're going to do Play With This Tuesday. So every Tuesday, check our networks, and we're going to have new reveals. This Tuesday, upcoming, we're going to have something that we hope really caters towards those collectors who are into more of the Masters of the Universe, science fiction, fantasy type of world.
Cool.
We know a lot of fans like that. I like to mess with them on Twitter all the time, even though I like Masters of the Universe. It just get them wound up. It's fun.
I'm a huge He-Man fan, so I was very happy to get this guy. So yeah, we're trying to appeal to a wide audience. So we have something that Trent Troop came up with, and he sold me on the idea, and Aaron Archer is working up some designs right now. So Tuesday.
Right on. Moving into the questions, since you started talking about some people that you work with, but can you give us a little bit of background on you and some of the people that are going to be part of PlayWithThisToo?
Yeah, well, I started off at Hasbro a few years ago. Well, before Hasbro, I was helping with the Transformers and G.I. Joe's Collectors Club. I was contacted by Hasbro when Brian Savage got the license, and they said, hey, we got this guy, he's been running the G.I. Joe Club, he doesn't know a whole lot about Transformers, so would you, and they also had Benny involved, and John and Carl Hartman, and they said, hey, would you guys mind helping Brian? Give him some figure ideas, give him some story concepts, and I did that for about 5 years as part of Brian's team, and then I kind of graduated into the big leagues, I guess you could say. Aaron was starting up this new group at Hasbro called HasLab, and they were basically the stewards of the brand, so anything that had to do with story, like big picture stuff, that would then trickle down to design and video games and show and film. That all was developed at HasLab with that team there, led by Aaron. And I did that for a number of years, and Fortunately, I fell. It was the numbers game, and me and however many 1,600 so people of my closest friends all got let go in about a year time, and ultimately it was for the best. So joining me is Aaron Archer. He was my boss at Hasbro. He was at Hasbro for almost 20 years. He worked on Transformers for 13 years straight, which is a record there. We have Ken Christensen, who's done a lot of art for us. He started doing a lot of the pre-movie art before there was an art team at the studio. He did a lot of the preconception stuff for Prime. He's done a ton of video game stuff. Trent Troop, who's been working with the Transformers and G.I. Joe Collectors Clubs for years. He's doing some designs and concept and story writing, and we got this other guy, Simon Furman, who he's kind of a writer. I don't know. He writes comic books. I don't really know. I felt the kid's going to be good, so I wanted to give him a shot. So
Nice.
we'll see how he turns out. I got some high hopes from him.
Why did you guys decide to get into the third-party market? With some people, we see them that they jump to different companies, in this certain situations. But you guys decided to get together and form your own, PlayWithThisToo, this third-party company. Why did you decide to go that route?
Well, the corporate world is it is what it is. Whether you're at Hasbro or Mattel or Mega Bloks or to a lesser degree Lego, it can be constricting. It can be limiting in some cases. You have to worry about a much bigger team, your marketing team, your senior management, and your cost analysis guys, and your brick and mortar retailers telling you what they want. So when some of us got let go or moved on, a lot of us decided, independently of each other, that we didn't want to work in that environment again. I know that's definitely the case for me, and I think I can speak for Aaron in that regards, that we never want to really work in that environment again. So we wanted to be creative and wanted to keep making cool stuff. So we formed this company, and it's been almost a year and a half that we've been working on stuff. And I think we've been in the public eye now 3 months, leading up to our Kickstarter. I think it all just comes down to the toy industry is changing. You have the toy industry, it's either going very high-end towards collectors, or it's going very young, very kiddish. And I think the kid stuff is it's all over the place. It's what you're going to find in your brick-and-mortar stores. The collector stuff, the stuff that I like, that's the stuff you got to get online, or you got to get in a specialty shop, or you got to order. So I think it's having a real big effect on the toy industry, and I think that effect is kind of opening the door for companies like ours to come in and say, hey, if you're a fan of action figures, or if you're a fan of transforming robots, or if you're a fan of 3 3/4 inch figures, here's our take on it. Here's what we're doing.
Awesome.
Cool. If I could just ask really quickly, I really like the name PlayWithThisToo. Where did that originate? Because it's a really great name.
Thank you. I think you're the first person to ever say that. I think we get a lot of slack for that name. So the original company name, when it was me and Mark Wong, before all these other guys came in, Mark is one of our designers. We were like, let's call it Chantel's Tears. Because it's like, who is Chantel? Why is she crying? Did she design these figures? I don't know. So the bigger it became, I thought, you know what? We need a better name than Chantel's Tears. And I worked for a collectible toy store for 8 years straight, all through high school, all through college. It's called Play With This Toys and Collectibles, and it's in South Jersey. It's still there, and they've been in business for over 20 years. And the guy's been like a father to me, named Scott Tallis. And I thought, well, your kids are never going to take over the store. How about letting me have the store name, and I'll put a 2 at the end of it. And it's kind of me paying homage to someone who was a very big father figure in my life.
That's
And
awesome.
that's also where our logo comes from too. He is he's really into monsters and color forms and aliens, and so that was kind of his logo, and we just kind of took it and cleaned it up and did a few different things with it, and we're making it our own as well in honor of him.
Sweet. Nice. I like that. It's always nice to know the origin of the names at times. That's cool. You want me to take the next question again, Josh?
Yeah, well, I guess before you do that, I wanted to kind of do a follow-up with that. The logo, is that kind of a little Hoist Goes to Hollywood kind of look where they're wearing those alien masks?
It's a little mix of that and some '60s color forms.
Gotcha. Because I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I've heard a couple people mention that before. We tend to put Easter eggs in a lot of our things, and only rarely do people pick up on it. But pretty much every release we do, there's a little Easter egg somewhere in there.
So we're gonna have to be on the hunt for those. I usually like to look for stuff like that because anyone that can design, a figure from beginning to end is obviously has talent, and they got to think outside the box. And so I always like looking for little things like that, little Easter eggs. All right, I'm sorry, Jay.
Oh no, that's totally cool. So the project that you're working on now, safe to say, can we call it what you kind of told us off air?
Yeah. Our good guys are called protectors.
Protectors.
Our bad guys, they're kind of what we're calling heretics right now. The good guys are the protector. That's their faction. That's their group. The bad guys are more of a rogues gallery. So they're not really a team. It's kind of like, well, you got the Joker and your Riddler and your Penguin, and they all work independently of each other, and they're their own bad guy, and they each have their own movie. So that's kind of how we're treating the bad guys in our stories.
Okay.
These guys don't work together. They all have their own desires and origins and talents and weapons.
Awesome.
And you kind of answered this question when you were talking about coming up with a name and such, but why did you go the route of those kind of space, type of kind of looking like pretender type characters?
Well,
why did you go that route?
I'm a big fan of the 80s. I mean, I was born in '79. I grew up in the 80s. I was an only child. Still am, as far as I know. So I had a lot of toys. I'd have my Castle Grayskull at my mom's house, go to my dad's house. I'd have my Castle Grayskull there. So I had a lot of stuff when I was a kid. I had a lot of He-Mans and G.I. Joes, and Star Wars, Transformers. And I'd have the occasional Inhumanoid or Sectar, and these are all things that I still collect. I have a complete collection of Inhumanoids, of almost a complete collection of Sectars. I love Thundercats and Silverhawks, and I think we're paying homage to a lot of different things, and that's why we're doing that Play With This Tuesday, because we have a lot of things we want to show people. So we're hoping that our reveal on Tuesday will be, this is really to cater to the Masters of the Universe fans out there.
Oh, cool.
But it also works with everything else that we've been designing.
All right.
Is there a particular character that you like working on more? We've seen, the Heretic guys, the Beast guys, and then we've also seen the Protectors. Me, I'm kind of a bad guy lover. I just always think they have the coolest colors, and the Beast. Is there a particular one that I guess you personally enjoyed working on the most?
There is. We haven't even shown him yet, but I'll talk about him. I guess we'll have to show him soon now, since I'm talking about him. The Mighty Musculi, son of Testosteros. So, the Mighty Musculi, son of Testosteros. He's like your wrestler guy. He's a human. He's got this purplish sash across his chest. Helmet. Kind of has the handlebar mustache, and he's kind of talks like Hulk Hogan a little bit. So he keeps wanting to join our team. He's like, "Bruh, you gotta let me fight the bad guys for you. You gotta let me on your team. Look how strong I am." So that's definitely one of my favorite characters, because I'm a story guy. So working on that guy with Trent has been a lot of fun, and the more I think about it, oh man, the more we can just have fun with a name like that and explore his background, and he's quickly becoming my favorite character. And now I guess we're gonna have to show him because we talked about him.
Great.
Right on.
That's what we do. That was the whole purpose of getting on.
He will also be a Kickstarter exclusive too. The Mighty Must Release Son of Testosterone. So if you kind of envision what I'm describing as far as a sash and his strong arms, and he'd be like an orange tech drone. Yeah, you'll only be able to get him through the Kickstarter.
Okay.
Okay. The next question you kind of already answered, so I'm going to kind of stick with kind of what you're talking about there. Just as far as names, looking at other third parties coming up with names seems really kind of at times good. Sometimes they're just like, wow, where did they come up with these? How is it, the inspiration to come up with some of the names for your characters? Like you got Astroblast, Jetwash, and such. It's just
I think a lot of those third-party robot guys are coming up with names that kind of maybe describe the function of that character or describe who inspiration might have been for that character. We're really going with who is this character in our story. So that's why you kind of see more of like the He-Man type names.
Mm-hmm.
They don't necessarily describe a function of the character, but it's kind of who that character is in the story. So you have a character called Bloodbath, and you have a character called Desolator and Musculi. So they're not really harking back to anything. It's really about the story of that character, and story is very important to me, at least. I think there needs to be a good story with any product that gets released. So we're hoping to show that story in the tech specs or the bio or file cards, whatever you end up calling them, as well as in the design of the package for each character. It's not going to be a universal line look. Each box is going to be a representation of who that character is.
Oh, cool.
I'm kind of looking at some of the things that we've been seeing from just kind of the sketch images. Why was the decision made to go with, I guess, the robot that parts out into like guns or weapons instead of something that a robot that actually kind of transforms?
Well, transforming stuff, there's a lot of engineering involved in that. The cost goes up exponentially on that, and some of us have been doing transforming stuff for 10, 20 years. So a lot of us, the other designers like Steve and Aaron, they wanted to do something new, something that they hadn't really done in a while. So the tech drones were initially just armor that kind of came apart and became a little like vehicle, and it was almost like an afterthought. And I think it was Mark Wong's idea to take the tech drones a little bit further and say, well, if we add this torso and the head and we change these arms around and you change this gun, you put an arm on it, it kind of becomes a character on its own. So they were designed. They came into the picture much later in the design process of the figures. Initially it's just the figures, and they have 5mm ports, and all the weapons can combine, and all the weapons are interchangeable. And then Mark kind of took the idea a step further, and they became their own characters.
Okay.
Cool. We've seen you ask fans on social media about certain things to add to figures. Is that something that you'd like to continue doing? And how much does that account for what gets decided?
Yeah, I think feedback's always important. Good, bad, neutral. It doesn't bother me when we get bad feedback. It's feedback. It's all something I take in. We kind of look at and say, all right, well, this guy is this and this and this. And there haven't been a whole lot of things that came out of the feedback that we have integrated. One of the things that did was making the hands 5mm ports. Initially, they were just going to be interchangeable hands that pop off and you pop another hand on. But somebody said, "Oh, I hope the hands are 5mm." And I was like, oh, yeah, of course they should be, because now you can pop the hand off and pop a weapon in there, and the weapons work with the Tektrons, and the Tektrons can fit into the hand socket, and now all the hands work across the line. So that, and then we asked about a cape, and we're still looking into doing a cape, and then we thought, all right, well, some people want a cape, some people don't, so maybe we'll make a cape like a stretch goal, and you get like a series of capes or something like that. So it's not something you get to do at the corporate level. There was plenty of times when we thought, well, let's put it out there and see what the fans say. And a lot of time, marketers or senior management would be worried that, well, then if you don't do it, they're going to hold you accountable for it, and it could become a bad PR move. And so I try to say, Stoje Vrag,
So it wasn't
put it out there and see what people say.
I'm sorry. It wasn't someone that actually had this well thought out suggestion that they wanted to see. It was just someone comment, oh, hope they have 5mm ports, and so it was just something real simple and initial reaction. Things like that will probably get, I guess, thought of or integrated in a little bit more. It was saying that, oh, this guy should have these longer ears or something. Like, we see some of these people in the fandom, they get really technical. It's like, well, why don't you just design your own figure? Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I know I read most of all the boards out there. I can't really speak for the other guys. I think they peek in every now and again on some boards more than others, but. I mean, there's some people who say, hey, if you took this color and you kind of pushed it a little bit more this way, or if you put some highlights here on the shoulders this way, that's all good feedback. So there's been a couple times where we've gone back and looked at the colors and said, hey, what if we did this here instead? So we like feedback.
Awesome. I guess the way that put this one, there's a lot of characters that we love. Is there any chance that we might see something like a Metal Hawk or Grand down the line?
Characters that might pay homage to other things from Japan. Yeah, definitely. There's a character we have called Iron Flight, and we're thinking of changing the name to Iron Strike. But he's what we think might be the leader of our strikers team, and he's got a really cool blue helmet with a horn and some really cool shoulders and some wings and this awesome weapon that's covered in 5mm ports. And he's very well designed. He's designed by Mark Wong. So that's why we got to do Play With This Tuesday, because we got a lot of stuff to show. So I guess we'll have to show him sooner than later now too.
All right, cool. Really quickly, I have kind of a side question here. Are you guys thinking, or maybe with the whole kind of you've said stuff that kind of Masters of the Universe in a way, are there going to be any beasts, things that some of these characters, since they're 6-inch figures, that I can ride on, or maybe vehicles or something in the near future?
We've talked about beasts, not for our crowd game. We have an idea. I have this idea to use this one body and then just change the arms and the legs on it, and maybe you can get 4 characters out of it. And you change the heads on it, but I think that would be post Kickstarter. It's not going to really make it in the first round or the first year. But we also have, you said Beast, and the first thing that came to mind was another character we have called Trigor, who is a beast who likes to battle, and he's got an animal head. And so that was the first thing that came to my mind. Oh yeah, Trigor. Yeah.
Okay.
But nothing that they can ride, no vehicles.
That one that you're talking about, where you can take legs off and other stuff off. I guess for fans to kind of understand, would that kind of be, I don't know, you kind of look at Masters of the Universe like Modulok, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, our figures are designed like that, so they'll have ball and socket joints at their shoulders and their hips. So technically, you would be able to take the legs off your, say, Desolator and put them on your Astroblast, or take the arms off your Muscules and put them on your Trigor, and vice versa. So there's going to be a lot of customization that you can do with these figures. The heads will work on all the characters. The hands are all 5mm ports, so they're all interchangeable. The feet will also work on ball joints, so you can take the feet off all the characters and swap them around. So there's a lot of play value in this, and so we're also going to do the Play With Yourself box set, which is it's kind of like your customizer's dream. All the pieces are going to come in white, and you'll have like 3 chests, 3 sets of arms, 2 sets of legs, like 5 or 6 heads, and a bunch of different weapons, and they all come in white or gray, and you can kind of have enough parts to build 2 figures, however you want to build them and paint them up. So
Nice.
that's our attempt to target the customizing fans.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
You guys like that game?
Play with yourself. Yeah.
Play with yourself box set. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jaim, yeah.
What? Let's see. I think kind of answered that one. Going to fiction, since you love fiction, what type of fiction are we going to get as far as it's going to be on the box? Will it maybe have a comic, like impact comic type thing?
Comics cost a lot of money.
Okay.
So we can't do comics up front. There might be a pro story that you get with a digital download as a reward for the Kickstarter. There will be bio cards. So Simon is going to take the lead on writing a number of those bio cards. And, Trent's going to write some. I'm going to write some. I think Aaron's interested in writing a few as well. And then Trent and I will work as editors to kind of make sure the story flows across all of them, so that you have these bio cards, and they all kind of tell a story, not just about that character, but about the larger world in general.
Cool.
All right.
But
Now,
I would love to do a comic of some kind. It's just not in the cards right now.
All right.
I think a digital download would be perfectly fine with fans. I mean, a lot of them, they just like some type of fiction, whether it's something they can hold in their hand or just read.
Yeah, we plan to have like a digital downloaded book that you can get as part of the reward system. It'll have extra bios in it. It'll have all the bios for the headshots. It might have a pro story in there. It'll have more art in it. So it'll have the making of PlayWithThisToo in it as well.
Oh, cool. Right on.
As far as, well, I guess we'll try to, as Transformer characters, you working, at Hasbro and all, the rest of these guys, working there for quite a while. I don't know how often you keep an eye on what's going on in the third-party world, but is there any particular character that you guys think that, that should really get an update? Not necessarily that you were going to make it, but you think that might be one that needs an update from, let's say, G1. I don't care about B4s.
I'll just say, I think Skylinks needs some love. I think there needs to be a Skylinks figure out there of some kind. So, they're all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Gotcha.
All right. Sticking with third parties, what is your opinion on the rise of third parties that we've seen in the last couple of years?
Yeah, it was definitely it's definitely kind of taken the collector's world by storm. When I was at Hasbro, I was kind of charged with documenting a lot of this stuff and keeping an eye on it. And I really tried to learn as much about it as I could. And then when I got let go, like that first month, I spent like $2,000 on stuff because I finally thought, oh, I'm free to have this now in my collection. Oh, this looks so cool. I've always wanted this. So yeah, I don't feel guilty about owning any of that stuff. I think if you're a fan of figures that transform, convert, whatever, if you're a fan of brick building like Legos, then I think you're kind of free to say, all right, well, I can't find what I want here. What other outlets are there for me to get the stuff that I really want, that's going to make me happy, instead of like, will I be happy buying the 1999 figure at Walmart, or will I be a lot happier spending 70, 80 bucks on this figure online? Yeah, it's more expensive, but what do I think is cooler? What do I think will display better? What do I want it to harken back to the most?
Always kind of look at that, that decision whether to go with an official product or go with a third party as like kind of buying a car. You're like, well, I can get all the bells and whistles. It's going to cost a little bit more money, but do I want to kind of regret that, a couple years down the line and be like, man, I wish I had heated seats or something like that. So it really depends on, the buyer, what they're exactly, what they're looking for.
Yeah, there's some things out there that I've questioned. I'm like, ooh, really? Those guys made that, huh? And then there's been a couple instances where it's like, oh, bad timing on that. Sorry, yeah, it's probably like $100,000 you just spent on tooling. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm pretty up to date with a lot of the third-party stuff, and I have a huge collection of that stuff. It's mostly what I collect these days. Which I think speaks volumes to how well it's designed and marketed and how good it looks and its quality. Because I used to be the guy, and this really helped me a lot while I was at Hasbro, I used to be the guy that would get two of everything. One in package, one to open. I would get all variants. I would get all the licensed goods. And lately, the last year, I've really been thinking, well, do I really want something that doesn't transform and his arms just move up and down? Or do I want to spend that money and get like a cool missile and gun set that can take my other guy and make him look more the way I want him to look? More that harkens back to what I remember was cool about that character when I was a kid.
All right. I know that you mentioned that you're a fan of Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Star Wars. You kind of collected it all. There was something that you said, a certain brand in there, or a toy line.
Humanoids.
Well, you said Inhumanoids, but I grabbed onto the Sectars.
Oh,
Sectars. You almost have complete collection of that. Me, myself, I'm missing Night Fighting Dargons, Paraflyer. I just cannot find one with wings as a little beast.
Yeah.
And the Hive. And that's it. I know that Hive thing is going to cost me quite a bit of money, but other than that, mine's complete as well. And that's one toy line that I always look back on. And one, it terrified me as a child because my grandma bought those things for me when I was like 4 years old, because I was born in '82. I believe they came out in like 86. So the hand pup and all that was terrifying to me, but. The paint detail on it is fantastic. Articulation, the weapons, the motor gimmicks, the hand puppet, it's all great. Is there any plans to maybe do something like that, or you just kind of want to stick with these? I
think we're doing things that I think all those brands I said, they all have points of inspiration that you can draw from. So I love Sectars. Every piece I have is in the box. I don't really collect them loose. I don't know. I collect everything loose in box, but with Sectars, I only get them if they're sealed. I don't know why I have that weird fetish with them, but except the Hive, I have that open because it's a cool display piece.
I mean, I've got mine loose, so I can bring them over and we can play with them. So
yeah, yeah. I got a lot of the cool European stuff you might not have seen before, but anyway. I am a big fan of Inhumanoids and Thundercats and Sectars and Centurions.
Visionaries?
Micronauts and Transformers, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and Ninja Turtles, and they just provide a plethora of inspiration.
Yeah. We need Visionaries and more holograms. Bring back one of the
Visionaries,
cool things back in the 80s.
I love Visionaries.
Oh, they're actually talking about booting that back up, the Visionaries. Still waiting on that, and also Captain Power or Phoenix Rising.
Captain Power.
Captain Power.
Dude, me and my 3 Captain Power fans in the world, dude, we're standing behind
Buddy,
that promise.
you don't even know. You don't even know. You don't know. I'm a huge Captain Power fan, and Sauron the Sky Sentry is one of my favorite characters from childhood.
Oh, and that's gonna be that's actually coming out full on DVD as well. So
The original Captain Power, not
the original Captain Power is they're finally putting it out on DVD. You can buy the complete series, and it's also gonna be on Hulu, I believe as well. But I don't have Hulu. I'm just gonna buy the DVD collection.
Yeah, I'll just get the DVD. Yeah, Tank and Captain Power and all those cool characters.
And then they're gonna hit me up 2 months later for the Blu-ray, and I'll probably just buy that too.
Yeah, I think if I had a way of purchasing them on VHS, I think I'd rather have them on VHS. It's like getting the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on tape. Yeah, there's something cool about that. Mm-hmm. I wish I could get Captain Power on VHS.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing with like Silverhawks for me, because they cut out some of the stuff from on the DVD that I don't like, but you can get on the tape version. But moving on to the next question, how has the reaction been in the community as far as your product? Positive? I mean, they've taken to it. Support?
Well, you tell me. What's your reaction to it?
I like it. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Super God Master Force, so I like the characters that I've seen, and I do like the 80s kind of. I don't know, some of the figures look really good, and I like the 6-inch seems to be like the best size scale, and it can interact, with other lines that I collect also. But has it been pretty?
Well, I think people are at first they're kind of surprised, or like, well, they're guys who have worked in the industry before, and then you kind of see who's involved, Aaron, and Simon, and me, and some of the other guys, and they're kind of confused or surprised or happy. I think most of the response we've gotten has been ecstatic. A lot of people seem to be very interested, and they want to support us. And all the conventions we've gone to, a lot of people have come up and talked to us, and we wish you guys the best of luck. There's some people who share the opposite opinion online. It's the internet, so you're going to have people from all over the spectrum saying different things about your products. But overall, it's been surprisingly positive, and we've gotten a lot of retailer feedback that seems to be pretty good. And our crowdfunding consultant says they've never really seen a marketing campaign start this early for like a Kickstarter before. So we're hoping that all systems will be go come February.
Good, cool. Yeah. I mean, I do love it because it's different. It's not a transforming like robot like we're accustomed to with third parties, and it's really cool. Like you being an 80s fan, I'm an 80s fan, and I can see a lot of that put into these characters of just you can look at certain things and such. But
To me, it's hey, how cool are they going to look standing next to your 6-inch figures that you have at home, and how cool are they going to look standing next to your robots, your Transformers GoBots that you have, whatever. And then how good are the figures themselves? What's the play value in them, and what's the quality of them, and what's the design of them? They're very articulated, so they're not like old Sectars figures where the articulation's a bit limited. So this definitely has been a dream project of ours, for me especially.
Like Jim said, my favorite series is Super God Master Force. So whenever I saw him, I could identify with these, these characters. But
so wait. So what's your favorite character so far?
The one I like is Blood or Bombburst, whichever one you want to call him. Or Bloodbath. Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to. I like to just ask people what they think they're.
That's whenever I saw that cape too. I'm like, Yeah, I could get behind that cape, and if the people that are like, I don't like the cape, then it's well, I think it looks like you can take it off. So
Yeah, yeah. You just pop the head off and put the cape on. What do you think about like a crushed velvet for the cape? Like a really nice material for the cape. So that's kind of like what I'm thinking with the cape, and we can make it in purple and pink and black and red, and kind of just do like its own. Like if you want the capes, here's the cape option. Just buy the cape option if you want them.
okay, so kind of like they do with like Masterpiece. They're like, here's the figure, and then here it is with a coin. And like me, I'm one of those people that are like, I don't need a coin. You know, I'm gonna lose that thing. So
It's nice to have the
alright.
option, so.
That's how we think
Capes.
it's going to be. Well, we think it's going to be like an unlockable stretch goal where it's like, hey, capes are unlocked. You want capes? Buy the capes. If you don't, that's cool.
Also think that whenever I saw this, like I said, I got a lot of friends on Twitter and stuff, Masters of the Universe collectors. Even though I like the line and played with it as a kid, but I think that this can even cater to them because even they have come out in their classics line with just made up figures, or they had the King Grayskull Man, they have had the Mighty Spector or whatever, and a few others there. So not
Fearless Photog.
yeah, not figures that were or characters that were actually in the Filmation series or another series, but they're just like coming up with them on their own. So, and I've heard a bunch of Masters of the Universe fans say that I wouldn't mind having some more stuff like that, or they're even buying things that kind of look like they could go with their classic stuff. So this is definitely something that can kind of go in with that.
Yeah, I'm a big He-Man fan. I have almost a complete collection of vintage He-Man figures. I'm just missing the European figures. I'm totally up to date on the classics Master Universe stuff. So yeah, these figures are really they're designed to stand right next to them and look really cool next to them and fight them. And some of the heads are interchangeable, and you can use their weapons in our guys' hands and our weapons in your Motu hand. So as I said on Tuesday, we're going to do a reveal that we hope appeals to them, that caters to them.
Awesome.
Yeah, nice.
I guess in closing, a year from now, where do you see Play With This Too?
Well, we have our kind of estimate of how far we can go with this 6-inch idea. If it does very, very well, maybe we'll keep going with it longer. But we're already working on what's the next thing after this, and it is very different. Not transforming stuff. It's very different from 6-inch figures. It's not 3 3/4-inch figures either. So we're already thinking, all right, well, how is that going to work? It's in kind of a different audience. There'll be some people that carry forward with us, and we're looking at a couple licenses as well that we can produce around that new product idea that we have. So we've been talking to a couple of licensors, starting to come up with what the next thing is.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
So maybe 2016 for that stuff.
Right on. Quick question for like your protectors and such. When they sell out, is there a way to or you can do like reissues maybe so can get some of those figures that were kind of hard to come by or weren't able to obtain?
Well, there's going to be a lot of cool figures which are only exclusive to the Kickstarter, and that's really there to generate that interest and helping us get the tooling done and bring this line to life. As far as the other figures that will eventually get a release, if we run out and we decide to do a second run, we'll make them different some way, somehow. We'll make them different so that the people who got the first run, they keep the collectability of that first run, and at the same time, they also have something new to buy if they wanted to.
Oh, cool. So you're keeping the collectors in mind, so you don't have to worry about a reissue or...
Yeah, these things. Yeah, these things are investments. Like any high-end collectible, it's an investment. So when a reissue comes out, I always prefer it's a different color or different packaging. Something's different about it or comes with extra stuff, just to make it different for that Mach 1 version.
Okay, cool.
I had a quick thing. I don't know if you can answer this one or not, but when do you think the soonest we might see kind of a, I guess, prototype, if you will?
Yep. January. We've got January or sooner. We had the first figure printed out, and it wasn't quite what I felt comfortable showing to the public. So we kind of went back and said, all right, let's not show them something that's not up to par. So we went out and we actually spent a little bit more money. Got Chris Dahlberg, who is one of the founders and of the Four Horsemen. They've designed a ton of figures for DC and Mattel, a ton of He-Man figures. He's one of the founders of that group, and we've contracted his studio to produce our digital sculpts for the figures. And then we also have our buddy Pierre, who's in Germany. He's working on our tech drones and some of our weapons. So we should see a 6-inch figure in January. Tech drones probably sooner.
Okay. James, did anyone in, I guess, the comment section have anything that I guess we didn't cover?
Some people want Micronauts. You mentioned.
I'm a fan of Micronauts. You know, guys like Biotron, Baron Karza.
But no, I mean, not really.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and move on to the next stage. A couple of things I wanted to, or I guess let's go ahead and get into this. But the art of Ken Christensen, he's doing a Facebook light drive. It's going to be going from today till December 06. All you got to do is, I believe, like this page. It is on his website, or on his Facebook page. I've actually also added it to the G1 Hextron Facebook page, so if you guys want to find it really easy, you can just go there.
It's also on our Facebook page for PlayWithThisToo. I think you have to share the page, recommend it to 5 of your friends, and then just go back to that initial post he did on the art of Ken Christensen and just say you did that, and then you're entered in the contest to win a couple of art prints.
Yeah, which I have done. So
Ken is a great guy. He's been a good friend for a couple years, and he's designed some of our headshots, and he's done some amazing art for us as well.
A couple of other things that I wanted to go ahead and mention before we jump straight into the news. Rick, you can stay with us as long as you want, man. If you do happen to leave early, man, thanks a lot for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think you answered a lot of questions that probably a lot of people in the community just kind of maybe had, and it gives them a little bit better idea of the company and what you guys are trying to do here. So.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. Let me talk about myself and the guys for a little bit. But yeah, I'll hang on. Maybe I can chime in on what else you guys are doing.
All right, we're gonna just kind of kick off with sales, just because it's around this time that we're getting closer to Christmas. You guys need to try to save as much money as possible. So, as of right now, I've only got 3 places that I saw that are really putting on some pretty decent sales. No major retailers yet, but I saw Toy Dojo. They've got a few third parties added to their Black Friday sale. I believe it was all KFC. It's like 4 or 5 things, but it's about 30 to 40% off on some of those things. So if you're interested in that, you can definitely go check them out. Nerd Rage Toys is doing 30% off during the entire month of November. So they usually carry just a lot of vintage stuff, and sometimes they carry some new stuff like some of the classics, Ninja Turtles and Star Wars Black Line figures. And then also our third-party friends at Versus Forge. If you go to their store, you can find that on their Facebook page at Versus Forge. They're doing 20% off if you use the coupon code November14, or not November, NOV14. Sorry. And I'm just gonna plug myself here. We've got 9 more days. We will hit the goal, but it's the Eat Your Veggies G1 Hextron shirt. So If you want a little Hex or baby Hex, there you go. I also will put that link in the description. All right, so this is something that Ricky said you kind of help out on a little bit. Right here, we're looking at comparisons between the one on the left, Takara, and the one on the right, Hasbro, as far as the brainstorm. You can definitely see some different paints here, so a little bit more added to the wings, a little bit of white right here. You can see the red here, and where was that other piece? I forget what, but you can kind of see them side by side. Now, you said you had a little bit that you wanted to kind of share on this, or?
Yeah, just kind of my observations from being in the industry for a little while and having seen behind the curtain. I think Takara, they know that there's going to be X amount of their product that's going to be exported and brought into Europe and into North America. So I think they're really trying to cater to that more adult fan base that is willing to spend $50, $60, $70 on an item by really putting on as much deco as they can and really just kind of nailing the colors, comparing it to their library and seeing what else is out there. That being said, I think both Hasbro and Takara have done an amazing job with the design for this figure, especially basing it off the IDW design. But yeah, I think Hasbro is really just, sometimes they're pigeonholed, or they have to make a product for a certain price, and they can't really afford too much deco if they're using extra parts, or vice versa. If they're using too much deco, then they can't afford to have a certain gun or whatnot. Takara's approach is a little more a la carte, where it's not necessarily one price fits all for Voyagers or Deluxes or what have you. So I think they really do a good job of putting their best foot forward and making those figures really pop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've also looked at, and there's some things that whenever we look at Hasbro and Takara, there's sometimes I'm like, well, I definitely like the Hasbro version better, and then there's sometimes I like the Takara version. Like on, for example, I guess for most recent stuff, RC, I like the Hasbro, but for Chromia, I like the Takara, and it's just with that little added little purple joints on her, and also, you know, her being blue, also having, you know, the blue visor instead of a clear. I think it just makes it look overall better. So I kind of get pulled in both directions.
Yeah, I think if I had my choice, I would probably go with more Takara stuff over Hasbro. But obviously, being cost what it is, you know, like a lot of the collectors, I can settle for the Hasbro version or nothing at all.
Yeah. Same with me. At times, it's hard because we get the Hasbro version at times, and then you kind of like, should I wait and see what Takara has, you know, in store for us? Like with the Generations Rhinox or Waspinator, the colors really popped more with the Takara version and such.
Yeah, that's like it's like there's some figures also that really just play. Like, I'm a troop builder, so I have well over 100 Viacons, and I'm building up my Tankor Viacon Generations army, and it's just really cool to see that the Takara one is more show colors, and that guy is kind of serving as the general to all my other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, moving on, we have some more officially licensed stuff. This is actually done by Kotobukiya. This is your D-style Megatron. They've already come out with the Optimus Prime. We saw a slew of Optimus Prime stuff as far as SD stuff. Now, kind of getting to the Megatron.
I don't know. The cutesy stuff doesn't always really appeal to me too much. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
I love it.
You know, like a bobblehead, okay, you know, but like this cutesy, super deformed stuff, I'm like, I see that, and I'm like, I really just rather have a really cool statue of Megatron in that pose with that smirk on his face and like a little super deformed figure.
Mm. You can chime in on that one, Josh.
Well, everyone that watches this show on a regular basis already knows how I feel. I mean, whenever it goes in video form, this video, I'm gonna find like this little cute, funny, thumbnail to put in there. So I love it because they're supposed to be so powerful and something so strong, but then you kind of cuten them up a little bit. I think it's funny.
Stand them next to your G.I. Joe figures, and you kind of realize the size, and kind of looks a little ridiculous when they're standing next to Snake Eyes, and you got a cute little Megatron there.
It's basically like a little SRC figure. So you can see all the joints in them. I think that was all, but yeah, it looks like some nice accessories. Arm comes apart there, so you can plug that in instead of just fitting over his fist. So I do like that. We're gonna skip that one just because it's kind of a rumor. If you want to, you can go read this on the Facebook page. But they're talking about a possible Hasbro, release of Ultra Magnus in Hong Kong markets December 27th, and Australian release being the April 15th. This was oh god, I forgot whose name it was. But anyways, if you want to read more about that, that's on the Facebook page. But I don't really want to get into it just because we don't have any solid evidence. But getting into this masterpiece, Exhaust. This is reported from Big Bad Toy Store, and here's what they have to say. The problem comes from the fact that Exhaust uses a shape on his design, the rectangular with a triangular portion removed from the bottom, which is alleged to infringe the trade dress of Marlboro and Philip Morris USA under the Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement. These marks cannot be used on products that could be intended for children. Now, we obviously know that this is not intended for children. And
it's still a toy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, should people freak out about this? Because I think that a couple of companies that are holding pre-orders to see if it does go through or doesn't go through. Me, I'm just gonna go import it in and not deal with it. But what are you guys' thoughts on that? It seems like they would have asked or something beforehand.
Yeah, ultimately I think it's much ado about nothing. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just my opinion. I think if you live stateside and you want to get that figure, I think you'll be able to find it.
Yeah. It reminds me of Masterpiece Megatron with the whole putting the orange plug in the barrel. In the States, you could get it without the orange barrel if you lived here in the States, so you don't have to have it modified and everything else to import it. Same thing with this. I mean, yeah. I mean, they used to be the sponsor back in the day, then it switched. I think, yeah, you can get this. I mean, Takara's making the sticker sheet that has Marlboro on it. Still, as far as I know. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not trying to hide it at all. They're just going full out with it, like Marlboro stickers. So I just thought that was interesting, something we could share. So there's a lot of good overseas e-tailers that you'll be able to pick this up from. All right, getting into the third-party news. A lot of you guys have Warden. You're happy with them. Then they also came out with a Guardian. This is by Perfect Effect. Now, they had pre-released this guy, and a lot of people, they were picking them up at BotCon. I remember that, and probably TFCon as well, and some of the other shows. That was kind of their, I guess, early launch. The official launch of the figure hadn't happened yet. Well, the normal version will not be released. So if you were wanting this figure, you need to go on your whatever e-tailer that you like to do business with, or whichever one you can find it at, and go pick up this guy right now if you do want him. Because after that, you're going to see this guy jump up on eBay, I'm pretty sure.
There goes the idea of getting $1,000.
Yep.
But
thanks, RID fans.
It's not too bad. I mean, the first release had at least a nice comic artwork on the cover.
So
that's what I meant. Yeah, exclusive. Yeah.
Is there you're telling me I'm going to be able to buy this figure again, but with the upgrade set, they're not releasing it as is anymore.
Well, the first one that came out was an exclusive. So that's basically what I meant with the pre-release. It was an exclusive for like convention that they came out with them early, and then they were going to come out with him at a later date where you could buy them on online e-tailers, whichever one you want to shop at.
Okay.
They're no longer going to come out with that. So it was basically like, hey, once we run out of this exclusive stock or extra stock that we picked up at conventions, like a lot of the e-tailers do, then that's it. They're not coming out with the regular release version. So you have Warden, which is basically Fort Max, and then you're going to have the exclusive version of this, and then that's it. No normal.
So what's that upgrade set that I keep seeing to like make him taller? Is that an upgrade set, or are they reissuing the Warden with those bigger legs?
No, it is an upgrade set. I do have that towards the end too. So. Now, if you guys are Make Toys or Mikey Toys fans, this is the exclusive on their website. As you know, last year they had, what was it, Nova Prime?
Hypernova.
Or Hypernova. This time they're going to be doing Nemesis from the Battle Tanker series. It's going to be $139.99. This is going to be on their website only. This figure is on sale from November 18th to December 18th, or while supplies last. I'm pretty sure it's not going to last till December 18th. I do have some better pictures here, and this is one that people have been kind of gawking over for a while. Pretty detailed. There's Cape. Got the little skulls there.
The chains and everything. I mean, it looks nice, and it's nice that it actually has the going off like the Hypernova. It actually comes with the robot that you use the armor set for, instead of having to have an exclusive. That's cool.
Now, whenever they came out with the Hypernova as an exclusive, they later released it to where you could buy it at e-tailers. There were just a few pieces. Some of those, was it translucent pieces that were different colors? Was that correct, Jaim?
I think that's what they were going to do, but I don't know if they actually did that. Like the yellow translucent or orange translucent pieces were supposed to be like blue or something. I don't know.
Right, and to kind of show you the difference between the two, so you always knew if you had the exclusive one or if, or the regular release.
That's kind of like the one like third-party piece I really haven't picked up. I got the Nova, but I haven't gotten this black version. It's definitely cool looking.
Yeah.
I might have to do this guy. I know people were as soon as I shared it, people were like, "You getting it?" I was like, "I don't know, man. There's a ton of masterpiece stuff coming out that's just gonna break me." But now we get into the Perfect Effect Leonidas. I believe that's how you say that, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And those are basically the first two pictures that we saw back then, but this week they have released some prototype images. There have been like 10 digibashes already on this, turning him into basically every character. But, I mean, what do you think now that we're kind of seeing this? I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Oh yeah, especially if you're a Lyle Convoy fan.
I really hope they do the Razor Beast that goes with this. I'm a big fan of that Beast Wars series where this is based from, and it just goes to show you how much story can take a character that's, a shelf warmer or an off-show character and just make him really cool. And they did that with Razor Beast, and I always wanted a figure, that Leo Convoy figure, and I'm glad to get this, and I hope it's successful for them because I definitely would love to see like a Razor Beast.
You can see a really nice shot of the lion head there too. It's like you got a flexible mane. That's a nice design.
Oh yeah, and then we can get a big convoy. That'd be nice too.
Yeah, big convoy would be nice too. I mean, even a Magmatron in that pre-Cybertron era would be really cool.
And there we go. That's the only shot we have there in beast mode, but
That looks a little Zoidish to me in that beast mode, but you know, Deco goes a long way. So I think once it's all colored up, I think it'll look really cool in beast mode too.
All right, this is going to be from DX9. This is going to be Invisible, or homage to Mirage. And I believe there's some pictures of the box here a little bit later. It really kind of looks like it's that Diaclone font from their carded stuff. As you can see, it's going to fit into your Masterpiece line.
Are you guys going to get that one? I'm like really on the fence with this, just because I think Takara really is going to blow up that whole like mini Masterpiece scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of see a trend on stuff, and then I'm pretty sure that, or almost positive that Takara is going to be releasing this in 2015. So that's why I'm going to hold off on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've been releasing more and more cars every year, and a lot of people have been wanting a Mirage. Now, if they made a clear version, you know, to maybe, I might pick that up, and then if Takara comes out with just a normal, it'd be kind of cool. Oh, nice.
You can see it with that Psycho. I mean, it does look nice, though.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like there's a bit of a gap here, though, in between the waist there. I don't know how well that shows up, but I kind of see there with the belt, so it's all hollow through there. But I love that box art too, just like Diaclone there. All right, TFC's Hydrant final. This is starting to hit e-tailers, so it's going to be, if you've ordered it, going to be hitting the mailboxes pretty soon.
I just got mine this week.
Nice. Is that as big as it looks?
It's pretty huge. Yeah, I haven't even opened it yet. I kind of wait till I have all 5 before I open them. But yeah, it is pretty huge.
For being someone that, like, you know, doesn't really want to fight and just wants to have, you know, peace and stuff, he sure is mounted up and ready to, like,
for a rescue vehicle. It is nice that Defensor is getting some love, though. I mean, being a little bit bulkier and such, but still, it's kind of weird that he's almost as big, or maybe a little bit bigger than Ares.
Yeah, he's about the same size, or maybe even a hair bigger than, you know, Ares or their Predaking. So. Planet X Neptune, so you can see this guy out of packaging. That's what your box is going to look like. And a few comparisons here. I know a lot of people that watch the Cybercast that there's, you know, this is the Dinobots as far as third party goes that they really want to get on. They love the whole Fall of Cybertron design.
Yeah, I was very lucky to be a part of that game. So I'm very glad that these figures are coming out, because that game that was like another labor of love for a lot of people, and there's a lot of cool designs in that game that I would love to see product form. I have the Swoop from this line.
Yeah, the Kalis is really nice. The Neptune here looks really good too. I mean, when we saw it, kind of the prototype at BotCon, it's a pretty significantly big fig.
Wish they would do I wish that last game was like Fall of Cybertron. That newest game, God, man.
I didn't work on that game. I didn't work on that game. But
Oh.
hey, with that said, my battery is kind of running low, so I will log off at this point, guys.
All right.
But
All right, man. Thanks for coming
having me
on.
and when I get the prototypes in January, maybe you guys can have me on again.
Sweet.
Absolutely.
Love to show them off and talk about them.
Cool.
All right.
All right,
Guys,
man. Well, I'll talk to you later.
For having us on.
Yeah.
Right. Take care.
See.
All right, now we're taking a look at crossovergens. What's this guy's name? What are they calling him? Basically, the God Bomber.
Yeah. I don't remember. To be honest with you.
There's so many.
Yeah. Looks nice. Just wish that when you rotate his head to the side, he's not looking into his shoulder.
He can only fight people directly in front of him.
Yeah, he's got a neck brace on. I don't know. But regardless, I'm not going to have him like this. I'm going to have him attached to my trailer force and have the huge, God Jinrai.
And you can also connect them, if you don't have trailer force, you can also connect them to your MP10 Prime.
Yep.
So, some in-hand images that are a little bit better than a bath towel in the background, but
I remember that.
AFT, taking a look at their Saint Tatanen or something like that. They're not Alpha Trion.
Yeah.
So you don't want to spend the BotCon money for Alpha Trion, then another option here. I do like the alt mode.
There's also the other one that's out, and I forgot what it's done by. Shoot, I can't think of it. It's the non-transforming one, but it is a licensed product that has the one that I think you can give them a younger-looking face.
Oh, yeah, you
heads.
can. Yeah, I forgot who did that. We look at so much stuff that it's hard to keep up. And then you also have people canceling and stuff like that as well. Like
Sure.
Whenever he was bringing up Skylinks, I remember Machine Boy was coming out with all that stuff, and Omega Supreme, the Skylinks, and yeah, you never saw that again.
Give him more of a Magnus color and call him Ultra Trion. I'd like that, but
We have the oh god, who is this? Well, this is they're Ultra Magnus, but the Iron Factory, correct?
I believe so.
Little
Just
add-on,
smaller.
Yeah, for Metroplex, Generation Metroplex.
Have that City Commander finally.
There he is, all mounted up with all these little guns and stuff like that.
I do like the fact that people are giving some love to the Generations Metroplex, so you can utilize it a little bit more in your collection, get some figures that actually scale with it. Quite nice.
And here we have by Custom Robots. It's going to be their tracks. Tracks getting some love.
Yeah, paint it red and call it Road Rage, though.
Yeah, they will too, and they did it with Sunstreak and Wheeljack as well. That what, I want to get a slicer. So I guess I'm going to end up getting 3 Wheeljacks because I'm sure they'll come out with slicer, right?
Yeah, if they want to do an homage to the Action Master, maybe. It was a European exclusive.
Those colors look so good.
Yeah. Go get the BotCon.
What? No.
no, not even going to go that route.
So some news from Gigapower for oh god, what's his name? Anyways, their Snarl figure. One of the things that they showed off this week is you're gonna have like these fire add-ons that are gonna be coming with them. So it's kind of like these extra accessory pieces. You can see it there with the sword and his gun here. And You can see whenever they have his, like whenever he slams his foot down or something like that, then it's gonna be like there's bursting up flames and stuff. So very
That's cool.
Damashi feeling. So, or those I don't know, you always see like those little what is it, Dragon Ball Z-ish stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call it. But
Yeah, the figure arts and all that.
yeah, they all have these little bases and stuff like that that people always pose it with. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you can see if you don't want to use it, then get it all regular here. And your fire parts.
It's a nice little added bonus. Just cool. Kind of sway you over to their side. It's kind of nice. I do like that.
Also from Gigapower, announcing of their next product. It's going to be Godinner or something like that. HQ05 Godinner, but obviously it's a Masha Swoop here. It's a pretty nice design.
Yeah.
That's all we have at the moment, so probably won't be too long until we start seeing some prototypes of this guy.
Or if they'll do two different versions of it too, like Vans Toys.
Oh yeah, I should ask him that. Here we have, is it Master Made? I'm not sure exactly who, but it's going to be kind of like a little smaller version of Metroplex. So, little cute Metroplex.
Yeah.
All right, and this is from Versus Forge. We kind of try to show these off whenever we had him on as a guest, but he sent these out, put them on his Facebook page. So what we were talking about is his, like, one of the next projects coming up is they're going to be coming up with these kind of like skeleton system, and then you have all these different parts to where you can take them off and put them on certain figures, so you can kind of mix and match. You can even make yourself an Autobot Spike. But these are just rough sketches, him coming up with kind of the idea here, so you can see Optimus Prime, Megatron there.
Yeah, fully posable, and I think he even mentioned possibly coming with a stand. So you can.
Yes, yeah.
So that's pretty cool too.
And you can see kind of like the little X skeleton, the way they want to do it there, so. And a Starscream. Or
Seeker. Let's just go with that.
It could be anybody. All right, so these are final and getting shipped out. The Microblaze Creations add-on set for your, Fall of Cybertron Bruticus. To me, this was probably the best way to go. Getting a Voyager Onslaught was key. I also think that it's kind of like what we see what Hasbro's doing now. Is they're like, all right, the centerpiece, the torso, the leader needs to be a Voyager, and it just looks so much better. So, just a few shots of this guy, so you basically know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I know people that have had them on pre-order, like their mouths have been watering for quite a while now, but.
Yeah, and it's just nice that it's going through. I mean, a lot of people I knew had this pre-order and then dumped the pre-order because they just weren't sure. But rest assured, it is shipping out, and it looks worth the wait. I mean,
yeah, because it was getting a lot of delays too.
Yeah.
But they kept on saying, like, look, we want to make this right. It wasn't, up to par. Just kind of like what Rick said. We had something that we might have had ready to show, but we didn't. It wasn't up to our standards, so we didn't want to show it. That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Fans, they want it right more than, hey, I want it now, and if it's got problems, then oh well.
Yeah, or just send me the stuff to fix it with or something.
Yeah, doing it right the first time is always the best way to go. This is what Rick was talking about earlier. Perfect Effect. They're going to have these add-on sets. So this is for Warden. Pretty close to being final. I don't know what else is supposed to change, but that's what Perfect Effect said. So
cool.
See, it makes them a little bit taller, and I don't know what else adds on there, but
Yeah. I like how they put the fusion cannon on Megatron there.
How do they?
They're backwards.
And also these little guys. Yeah, so you're going to have your G1 Fort Max, and you're also going to have your IDW style, your Black Zarak, your Scorponok. These are just about final, if not final, and should be, going out soon. You can see them all in full thing.
It's cool that they have an alt mode. It's really nice, being so small.
Might be one of the only opportunities you get to get a Black Zarak. So.
True, or if you want, you can spend the $500-$600 and get that nice 22-inch Black Zarak also.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Whenever that thing comes out. All right, and someone that I haven't heard from them in a while, but Crazy Devi.
Wow.
You can order these at crazydevi.com if you ended up buying the Mastermind Creations Feral Rex. And you can see that you have the original Feral Rex, which those wings look good, and they're huge already. Look how much larger these look, and they're that gold chrome. So
that's cool.
Even bigger.
Yeah.
And more cool. Yeah, so if you're interested in those, they're at crazydevi.com. So
that's really nice. I do like the fact that Crazy Devi has done that. I mean, I have their wings for their original Predaking, and I do like them, but you have to be careful with those gold wings because they scratch easily.
Yeah, I think I'm good where I'm at with my guy. These are the from SXS. They're two add-on weapons. You have the Gatling gun, and there's also like a little missile gun. There they both are. Get an idea as far as size there.
That go to the Transformers Prime Skyquake and Dreadwing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Even though Steel Core looks pretty awesome with them right now.
Yeah.
And there's some nice paint detail in there. The silvers and the reds, so it's nice. All right, Jaim.
What's up?
I guess before we end it here, man, any comments we need to cover? Or got a little bit more that we'll cover here as far as it's just one movie.
Dalton says that he would love to get that mini G1 Fort Max to have a G1 style Spike or Cerebros for Warden. He also would love to have the AFT Toys Titanium Saint. And just some other people just kind of talking amongst themselves. Such, so. A lot of people kind of liking the Perfect Effect Leonidas.
Yeah.
Whatever you call it.
Not even a Beast Wars fan. I think that thing looks pretty nice.
Yeah.
The other things as far as, movies, the only thing that I saw that was worth mentioning was The Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 1 is hitting theaters. As far as video games, I didn't see anything that was really that big of a deal. So we forgot to do this last week, but the things that we looked at today, kind of your top three.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I mean.
Well, there's that Perfect Effect Leonidas. I think we both.
Yeah.
That looks really nice.
Brainstorm. I'm still just wanting to get my hands on Brainstorm. I know he's starting to show up at retail here in the States, so looking forward to hopefully finding that before the holiday shopping craze begins.
Oh yeah.
And for what it's worth, I don't mind. I do like the aesthetics of that Invisible. I think, from DX9, I believe. It's really kind of nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go easy here. I'm just gonna say exhaust. Yeah,
Yeah.
I already wanted it, but now the fact, because that's one that I'm actually am gonna buy, so I figured, I have to mention it.
Mm-hmm.
But now even the fact that you're saying that you can't have that, it makes me want it more.
Yeah.
I'm like a little kid still. So.
Yeah, it's that you can't tell me I can't have something. I want it. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it doesn't come out until next, first quarter, 2015. So
yeah, I mean,
we'll
there's still a lot of time to find out exactly what's going on. So, I guess we'll go ahead and end it there. If you've got nothing else, I mean, we've got the aftercast tonight. Like we mentioned before, next week there's not going to be a Cybercast. There's not going to be an aftercast or an eBay shopping show. As far as guests that we have that are lined up, just need to confirm dates. For December are Bold Forms, and we also have repro labels that I've been in discussions with as well. Jaim, go ahead and tell people where they can find you, man.
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube, VictorySaber77, and like Josh said, there's the Aftercast tonight on my channel at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, so check that out.
And you can find me, G1Hextron, on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and my Facebook page, the G1Hextron. All the things that we showed you today are located on that Facebook page, so if you want to look at the pictures a little bit more, some of the stuff that I share that we don't share here on the Cybercast, but whenever I come across a good deal or some of my videos or just other little things, announcements, I just put them on there and let you guys know about them. And I believe that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Check us out on the Aftercast on Jaim's channel, and we'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks. Peace.
See ya.